Well, from the front lines of Afghanistan and Iraq to a local grocery store.
Yeah, a technologically advanced bandage can actually stop bleeding. Kathy Butler joins us now to explain how this little bandage works that Julie is holding. Great to see you, Kathy.
Thank you for having me. This is, if I hold it in my hand, it looks a little thicker than a normal Band-Aid, but it really doesn't look that different, but it is.
It is very different. What you're looking at is a product called KytoStat, which is made from chitosan, which is a byproduct of the shrimp shell. It is designed to stop bleeding rapidly, especially persistent bleeders. It's produced by Hemcon Medical Technologies Incorporated, and they produce the bandages for battlefield severe bleeding. From explosive wounds. So
if it can work on a battlefield, it can certainly work in the kitchen or the backyard if there's some scrapes or cuts or anything like that.
Absolutely, and in addition to the general public, it's very useful for individuals who are on anticoagulants, who have persistent bleeding problems due to the clotting ability.
So we've been using it on the battlefield. Have they been already using it in hospitals and medical facilities?
Yes.
And now it's just available for us?
Exactly. It was transferred from the battlefield to hospitals, EMTs, helicopter paramedics are using it, and now a smaller version of the same thing that's used in the battlefields and the hospitals is now available to the general consumer.
Tell me, Kathy, what kind of peace of mind does this give the user?
Well, a great deal of peace of mind, because most of the general public aren't accustomed to persistent bleeding on what to do about it. And this product is so simple that you just place it over the bleeding area, hold direct pressure for 2 to 5 minutes, and it actually forms a seal that then rapidly stops the persistent bleeding from occurring. So we have injuries, such as on our face or our scalp, and they're very difficult sometimes to stop bleeding. And it's very distressing to children and adults alike when you have something bleeding that you can't seem to control with normal means.
What happens after the bleeding stops? How do you take it off? What do you do afterward? Or is it just kind of like a regular Band-Aid? When you're done, you're done?
No, this actually can stay on for up to 48 hours, and it forms such a strong seal that you merely just soak it in water for a few minutes, and then you can easily peel it off. And so there isn't any pain involved in the application or the removal of the product, either one.
Unlike the old Band-Aids where you have to have that ouch moment,
Exactly.
Kathy, how long has this technology been around?
This has been around for the battlefield area since about 2004, I'm sorry. And for the general public, it just became available in January.
Who are some of the people that we might know, friends and people that we work with? What types of conditions lead to persistent bleeding? Which types of people will this really help the most, I guess is what I'm saying?
Again, individuals who have are on anticoagulant therapy such as aspirin, Plavix, Coumadin. You can also have individuals who are taking vitamin E that actually can cause increased bleeding tendencies.
Really?
And so certainly that group. And then again, you have the general population. Sometimes we have small cuts that stop no problem, and then other times we'll have cuts that are rather significant that, you don't have any loss of sensation or movement, but it just won't stop bleeding. So these are very handy for first aid kits for the general population, again, to just have available for those type wounds especially.
Kathy, with the new technology, you'd always have that prices really going through the roof, but what kind of prices are we talking about for the general public?
For the general public, I actually looked at drugstore.com, which is an area that handles these bandages, and for a box it was about $15, I believe, and they have free shipping. I'm not promoting this particular company,
but it's out there and you can find it, and it's it's more than a regular Band-Aid, but it's nice peace of mind.
Right. Well, it's like it's a tool that you may not use every time, but it sure is nice to have when you need to use it. So Ucrops carries it locally. Harris Teeter up in Northern Virginia has it. Again, drugstore.com has it available, and so it's just really a pretty neat special product to have on hand.
And of course the box says hikers and hunters. I mean, if you were out somewhere and you would want to stop bleeding if you didn't have attention, medical attention, that'd be really handy.
I'm an outdoor emergency care instructor, and this is perfect. This is perfect for people to have, that are very active outdoors. If you do a lot of work in the kitchen, either professionally or non-professionally, it's fabulous to have them too. Woodworking, we all cut ourselves, unfortunately.
Kathy, great information. Thanks for bringing it in.
Okay, thank you for having me.